Went from condos to Pop's house. On calls, now bus routes.
All right, N2S family, we got Ja Morant. Ja Morant. Oh, man. So, yeah, man, Ja Morant is back in the headlines. For the people who don't know, in 2023, Ja Morant went through a situation where he got suspended for being on videos with guns, right? And a lot of people had stuff to say at that time. And, you know, at that time, I actually said things to where I was, you know, taking Ja Morant's side because he's young. You got to think about it. The dude became a multimillionaire at the age of 20 years old, making millions and millions of dollars. Since he's been in the NBA, he probably have made upwards of $100 million. Ja Morant is making money. He getting that bag. For real, for real. And to be 20, 21, 22, 23, and to be in that position to where you making so much money, you're going to make mistakes. Especially if you're not connected to God and have God in your life and focused on the laws of God and things like that and what's right, what's wrong, especially if you're not in that place. But when I was 20, 21, 22, 23, I wasn't in that place. I was out getting in trouble. I tell you guys all the time, and I'm straight up about that. I was hanging out with the criminals. I was a criminal. I was doing illegal activity. You know what I'm saying? I'm honest about that. I was out there, you know, mainly selling, you know, weed and going to do drops. And anytime the homies brought me something that they were taken from houses during home invasions and everything like that, I was the one who was selling them. I was always a hustler, so I could sell anything. I could make money like that. But I was doing this at what, 20 and 21. So I was in a position where I was taking Ja Morant's side, even though I was saying what was right though too. But I was taking his side to where I understood that you're going to make mistakes, right? I was like, people need to get off his back. No one is living in Ja Morant's position where they got all this money coming at him at only 20, 21, 22 years old. So at this time, you know, when he got suspended, you know, he went through a lot. You know, it was some heavy stuff he was going through, right? So everyone felt like, okay, he learned something from that situation. He grew from that situation, right? But for the ones who don't remember, when this was going on, I was one of the individuals that was saying, yeah, this may be a situation he could grow from. But I hope that he have mentors and men around him who he respect, that he would listen to, right? I was always big on that because I'm under the understanding that you can't do it alone. Young men need older, wiser men around them to learn, to grow, to develop. That's important, right? The disciples needed Jesus. Timothy needed Paul. You get what I'm saying? Everyone needs someone. Everyone. Solomon needed his father David. Everyone needs someone to develop and grow. Even in your 20s, even in your 30s, if you never had it. So I was really big on, well, yeah, this is a situation that Ja could grow from, but if he don't have the right mentors around him that is not afraid to say, nah, Ja, that's wrong. That ain't cool, bro. Then it's going to be hard for him to develop and learn from this because he's making too much money and he got way too many yes men around him. And the NBA is going to welcome him back in with open arms. So what did you really learn from that situation if you don't have the right men around you, right? So now we're here in 2025 and Ja Morant is going through a lot of downs, some trials and tribulations you know, on his team Memphis. They have a new coach. You know, his old coach, I believe, was someone who he was really close with. You know, they're running, they have a new system that they have in place. I am under the understanding that Ja Morant do not agree with the system that they have in place. And there's just a lot going on. And the other day, Ja Morant got called out. In fact, he got called out during the Laker game. Now, just to be transparent with you all, I was happy as a Laker fan, you know, with Memphis getting, you know, whooped on, you know, by us. You know, I was happy. I'm not even gonna front. But I also didn't know everything that was going on in details. And everything just came out to where we now know what's going on in details. So during, I believe, halftime of that game, Ja Morant's coach called him out. Ja Morant didn't like that. Issues were created because of that. And as we all know, when they came out, they lost. They ended up losing that game. And I have two videos I want to play. The first video is what Ja Morant said right after that Lakers game. The second video I'm going to play is when he was getting questioned again by the media after another loss when playing Detroit. And he had more to say, right? So let's go on and watch this first video, and then we'll go from there. Again, this is the video after Ja Morant lost to the Lakers.
On to you today.
Go ask the coaching staff.
Do you feel like, I mean, there was anything you could do differently, I guess?
You ask them. They had a whole spiel in here, so.
From the outside, and the outside may be wrong, but from the outside, it didn't look like you had your usual energy tonight.
Go ask the coaching staff why.
Okay. You feel like you should play more?
Go ask the coaching staff. Should I play more or not?
What could have been done different to get a different outcome other than asking the coaching staff?
According to them, probably don't play me, honestly. That's what basically the message was after, so it's cool.
The coaching staff message was
It's
it?
cool, bro. We good?
You didn't have anything physically wrong in terms of illness or anything?
Oh, no,
You
I'm
were
good.
under the
I'm
weather.
fine.
Okay.
I'm fine.
So as you all can see, Ja Morant was very dismissive. He didn't really want to talk. But you know what I do give Ja Morant? He didn't just say, I'm not answering no questions. He didn't do that. He basically answered everything in his way, in his own way. He answered everything, right? But you can see he was bothered. He obviously did not like what was said to him during halftime. And on top of that, they just lost the game. So he wasn't trying to hear it. So after that came out, Ja Morant was suspended 1 game. He, dealt with his suspension. And then he came back. That was against Detroit. So Ja Morant come back against Detroit. They lose another game. It was competitive. I saw the end of the game. Very competitive game. Ja Morant is a baller. At the end of the day, Ja Morant is a baller. He could play. He's still really young. I think Ja Morant is only like 25 years old now. Really young. But they lost the close game, and you could tell he's just not in a good place right now. So what I want to do right now is play exactly what Ja Morant said after the loss to the Detroit Pistons. All right, let's get to it.
Were you and the coaching staff able to talk about what happened Friday and move on?
Y'all asked that question to them, huh?
What about for you?
Y'all asked that question, so y'all know the answer to that.
Do you feel like everything's been resolved?
Yeah. They told y'all that, right?
Well, yeah, but
There
we
you
didn't
go.
hear it from you.
Obviously, they can't go and tell y'all something I ain't say.
You feel like you get the same joy right now that we used to seeing from you?
No.
Why not?
What can be done to get it back?
we'll see.
Do you think you have a good relationship with the franchise
Yeah.
in general?
Yeah. They told y'all that, right?
I didn't say anything about that.
If I had a good relationship, I wouldn't talk to him at all. So, and we had our combos over these.
Do you have any regrets about the way you played on Friday night in the second half?
You said what?
Do you have any regrets about the way you played in the game? I'm not talking about the
That's your
post-game
home
stuff.
run question? Sound like a bait question.
Wow. You know, I don't like seeing this when it come down to Ja, man, because I believe Ja is a really, really good dude. You can see that he got a big heart. You can see that he got a loving spirit. I believe that Ja Morant is a really good dude. Do he go through battles as a young man out here trying to make it? I'm sure Ja Morant go through his battles. I think we all can see that Ja Morant go through his battles. For sure he go through battles. For sure he get tested. That's going to happen. The thing is, I don't believe Ja Morant know how to deal with those battles. I believe that Ja Morant don't know how to deal with being tested. That's one of the issues that I'm seeing when it comes down to Ja Morant. Because when you watch this situation, when he's talking to the media, there's ways he can answer questions to where he could kind of blow the smoke away. But Ja Morant, it's not that I believe that he's trying to cause confusion and issues with the media, with the way he's answering his questions, or cause issues with his team or the coaches. I don't believe Ja Morant have training in this area. Because remember, Ja Morant is making millions and millions of dollars. Ja Morant, I am sure, is the leader in any circle that he is in his life. Ja Morant, I am sure, is making more than his parents, uncles, aunties, and everyone put together. So when it comes down to giving Ja Morant directions, from what I can see, I don't believe no one is truly stepping up to the plate and saying, look, this may risk my relationship with him, but I got to tell him the truth. Because right now, I don't think he understands what he is doing. And I believe he's even trying to take the victim side of it. I can see it. I've been in that place before. Because no one was telling me anything. I was the oldest. I was the one who was hustling out there on my own. I had so many people following me. So I didn't have no one telling me. So when something would happen, when something come at me and now I'm getting defensive, right? And I get in that place where I have a defensive mentality, I would feel like the victim. Ja Morant right now feels like the victim. And that's not what's going on right now. But you have to have training and understanding to know, hey, you know what? I'm really not the victim. I can handle this differently. Right now, I'm too in my pride. But I can't see it because no one is telling that to me. So I want to say something, man, and I want to just get the camera on me when I say this. I'm about to be straight up with you all, right? See, and what I'm about to say, when I go into these directions, is the reason why sometimes people can't handle the pot when it's hot. They can't handle it. But I have to be transparent. I don't blame Ja Morant 100% on what's going on with Ja Morant. I don't blame Ja Morant. Do Ja Morant have some responsibility and accountability? Of course. He's a grown man. He's 25 years old. He's still really young, but he's 25. He's grown, right? So, of course, he has some accountability. Of course, he has some responsibility that he have to take. 100%. But you know who I blame more than Ja Morant? I blame his father, T. Morant. Again, I blame Ja Morant's father, T. Morant, more than I blame Ja Morant, the son. See, T. Morant, who I believe is a good dude, you could tell. He take out time with his son. He always at every game. He love his son. I could tell he's a loving father. But from what I could see, he is trying to be his son's friend more than his father. Fathers are disciplinarians. Friends, you kick it with them. You hang out with them. They agree with everything that you say, especially if you John Morant. But they not really giving you guidance and direction. They just trying to keep the car rolling and be able to sit on that passenger side. They don't want to get kicked out of the car. I'm not saying that T. Morant even feel like he gonna ever get kicked out of the car. But what I can tell you is that I see that he's trying to be more of his friend than his father. And the father got to take accountability and responsibility for that. You know, in Proverbs 22:6, what does it say? Train up a child in a way that he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Train up a child in the way that he should go, and when he is older, he will not depart from it. There's a lot of things that John Morant is going through right now. I don't believe he have training in that area. And that's on the pops when it come to that. That ain't on moms. That ain't on grandma. That ain't even on uncles. That ain't on aunties. That's on pops. Especially when pops was in the household. Everybody right now getting on job. Okay, rightfully so. Right? But you know I'm big on the OGs, the older men, the wiser men. You know I'm big on those individuals taking responsibility when it come down to these young ones. 100%. If John Morant sat down with his father, because you could tell he loved his father, and his father broke it down to him, saying, you know what? I don't care how my son feel after I tell him this. He got to hear it. I believe if his father had that real conversation with him consistently, John Morant is a good dude. I believe he would listen. Even if the first couple of times he say, Pops, I don't want to hear it because he's not used to it. I believe eventually, if his Pops is stern enough, he will eventually listen. But right now, I'm feeling like I don't think anyone is really in his ear. And the ones who may be in his ear, he not finna hear it. Because the ones who he respect and love the most, they not in his ear. They blaming the NBA. They blaming Ja's coaches. They blaming Ja's teammates. They blaming everybody else except for John Morant. And that's the problem. That's the problem. But when are we going to talk about this and say, at the end of the day, T. Morant should have some responsibility. He's at all the games. He got his mansion too. He got his 6-figure car too. He got money in the bank too. He not even playing and got all that. Much respect. That's his pops. So if he feel his pop should have that, his pop should have it. But T. Morant got everything that he want. So why are we not looking at him as the father and saying, bruh, you are partially responsible. If not partially, you have more responsibility than even Ja for the things Ja is doing. And you can't hide and be quiet and not say anything when he's going through this. Because you standing there with your arm around him after the games when he winning. So keep your arm around him and stand in front of him when he's out here losing. That's how I look at this situation. Most may not agree, but I look at things a little bit differently. And if you ask me, I put this on T. Morant. Where you at, brother? I want to see T. Morant put out a video. Say, you know what? That's on me. That's my seed. That's my son. We gonna get it right, though. We gonna get it right. We definitely gonna get it right, but that's on me. Where's that video at? That's all I'm saying. You know, but you know, shout out to Ja Morant, man. To me, Ja Morant, top 5 point guard, easily top 5 point guard. He just got to get everything straight in his life, man. And maybe he do need a breath of fresh air, a new team. You know, Memphis then went through so many changes. I was just thinking about this the other day. Memphis had a championship type team. You know, they was on the same trajectory at one point in time as OKC. They were right there 1-2 with OKC, but Memphis started trading their players and you know, hiring new coaches and people in a front office. You know, Memphis was doing too much. But you know, when you're not used to winning, that's what happened, man. So maybe Ja Morant do need a breath of fresh air because he done went through a lot in Memphis. Maybe it's time for that change, you know. So I want to see Ja Morant win, man. I just want to see. I say this all the time. Let's not tell a part of the story. Let's tell the whole story if we're going to tell it. And just sitting back and just putting these little moments just on Ja Morant and not looking at the whole scope of things. Look, man, here, not going to have it. I'm not putting this just on Ja. Not going to do that. You know, I'm not going to leave a 25-year-old, you know, with everyone on his back. A whole bunch of yes men. So many people probably don't even care about nothing, but they understand that they getting something out of this. So they treat him like a king. I'm not going to put a man like that is on a boat by himself, probably feeling alone, right? On an island all alone. Because he feels like I'm the only one going through. Look, at all these videos are just of Ja Morant by himself. Everybody talking about Ja Morant by himself. I can't even imagine how he feel right now. And everybody, just clean it up. Ja, get it right. Not understanding that, hey, that's like telling someone who barely passed geometry to go and solve this calculus problem. Like, bro, I was never taught that. That's what you telling Ja Morant to clean it up. Go get it right. Go make a better decision. Hey, you not answering that question right. He probably looking like, man, then what's the right way? You know what I'm saying? You got to look at it like that. How can you tell someone who only has passed geometry to go and take a test full of calculus problems? They're not going to know what they even looking at. So, and also, man, I hope Ja, man, I hope Ja just get God in your life at this point in time. Sometimes when you don't know who to turn to, you don't know what direction to go in. You got to get on your knees and pray, man, and really connect with God. Because no matter what, he got us.